Hey guys, welcome to week 2, notes and lecture. So we're going to start out, and you don't really need to write this down. You can if you want to. But I'm just going to kind of go through this. It'll set the stage for the work that we're going to do in the next 4 weeks and why it's so important. So you may have seen this last year. I don't know if I did show this to you, but it's always a good reminder. What is a technical endorsement and how do I get it? A technical endorsement is specific to career and technical education students, and it is a seal that's, it's a seal like this that goes on your high school diploma when you successfully complete a 2-year program and do a few other things that we're going to be talking about in just a second. And it basically shows that you are an expert in your field, that you were in this particular field at a very high level for 2 years. And it really says a lot about your accomplishments in your CTE area. So a New York State Career and Technical CTE education endorsement is placed on your high school diploma. Earning a CTE endorsement is considered a distinction of honor. Having achieved the designation demonstrates a student's academic strength and signifies their readiness to enter the workforce and or enroll in college. So, in addition, colleges are now giving college credit, some of them, just for getting your technical endorsement. So whether we have an agreement with them or not, once they see that technical endorsement on your diploma, they might, depending on the school you're going to, give you some credits. So it's worth asking your advisor or admissions counselor at your college. So earning your technical endorsement proves to you, your parents, your home school, and me, and Questar, that the investment everyone has made in you was worth it, and you earned and learned everything that you were supposed to. So this is a really worthwhile goal, and you can do it if you follow what I'm going to set out for you for this year. You're already halfway there. You all successfully completed last year and the work that was required for last year, and now we have 1 more year ahead of us. And I think you guys know that my stats on technical endorsement has been 100% for many, many years. So you can do it. You just have to really stay focused, not forget what the end goal is, and we'll all get there together. So, what do you got to do? There are 4 separate steps or parts to get your technical endorsement, and you must pass each of the 4 separately to get the technical endorsement. So it is not an average grade. It's each part has to pass to get the endorsement. So step 1, and this is where we're talking about NOCTI, but not only NOCTI, that's not the only thing you have to do, but your NOCTI, National Occupational Technical Exam, that you will take in the spring, has 3 parts to it. The first part is an arrest practical, and you have to pass that with an 87 or higher. That's not Questar's decision, that's the state of New York's decision. And that's based on the national average. It does actually change year to year because it's based on the prior year's average. So last year, because remember, this is a national exam. This is not just Questar. It's not just New York State BOCES. It's every career and technical education school in the entire country. And believe me, there's lots of them and lots of criminal justice programs. So many thousands of kids will take the exact same test you're going to take at the exact same time, like a Regents. And so New York State says, well, what's the national average of that part of the test? and it's been right around 87. And so New York said, well, then that's it. That's the passing grade. So 86 is not passing, which sounds crazy, right? Because 86 is a decent grade. So I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to make you realize that when we practice, I'm going to be super nitpicky, little teeny tiny things, because we really don't have a lot of room for error to get you to pass. Okay, so step one is the arrest practical. Step two is the crime scene practical, and that's the same percentage, 87 or higher. And I forgot to mention, I've got in parentheses here, TPD grades. It doesn't have to be TPD, Troy Police. It can be any of our law enforcement agencies, but basically I'm not allowed to grade you. And it really should be a law enforcement person who knows what they're looking at and knows what the criteria is that they're supposed to be grading you on. So that's step two, crime scene practical. So arrest is on one day, crime scene is on another day. So this is a 3-day exam, and it's all 3 days consecutive in the same week. We usually do a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because who wants to start on a Monday and who wants to do it on a Friday? So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's your 3 days of this test. And actually, I've got this a little bit out of order. The written exam is the third step, and we usually do that on the first day just to get that out of the way. So Tuesday will be the written, Wednesday will be the arrest practical, and Thursday will be this crime scene practical that you have to get an 87 or better on. So that third step is pass. It's about 200 questions, give or take. Pass the 200 question exam, written exam, with a 65 or better. So at least that's a little better, a little more breathing room there. I know you guys are used to the 65 average as a passing. But you know what? This test is, I mean, that's a lot of questions. So that's good because it means that each question is not worth so many points. But that's a lot of information that you're supposed to have learned and retained. It is multiple choice, so there's that, but it does cover those 5 units: law enforcement, forensics, crime scene, courts and law, corrections, private security. And there's other, they got some health and safety stuff, but that's all kind of blended in. So again, the content, doing the work. You guys have been doing the work. I don't have any doubt that you're going to do the work. I just want to remind you why it is important. It's baby steps. It's each day, one day at a time. And for this year, in your lesson plan for the week, each week, I've actually broken it down even more specifically each day, Monday through Friday, what you should have gotten accomplished, which pages exactly you should have read, what your homework is, etc. So it's really broken down step by step. And if you are diligent in reading your pages and understanding the material, doing your homework, studying for quizzes, studying for tests, paying attention to notes and lecture, if you're doing all of that, you are not going to have any issue with this test. And again, 100% of my students every year for, I think, 9 years in a row have passed. So we've got this down. I know how to get you there. You just have to go with me. So that's the third part. Now we're going to talk about the fourth part, which is also required to get your technical endorsement. And this is the work you're going to start this week, which is why I'm talking about all of this. So the fourth part is the professional portfolio. So you guys already have a portfolio. I gave it to you last year, and you have been putting all of your work, all of your tests and practicals and write-ups and all of that stuff. You've just been putting in your the portfolio that I gave you. I'm going to call that one your working portfolio. Your working portfolio is like the holding place for everything. This is the professional portfolio. So this is the one that we're going to be working on this year. There are some required pieces. There's a lot of required pieces, and it has to be done at a very, very high level, like perfect. Like nothing goes into that portfolio that isn't perfect. So, we will Questar purchases that for you. That's what it looks like. And we should have one for everybody in September starting. So let's take a look at what has to be in here. And this gets graded at the end of the year. It gets graded usually by your English 12 teacher, which is Mrs. Piotrowski this year. So let's take a look. Well, actually, I'm not going to get into all the pieces right now because that's what the weeks to come are going to be. The homework, the lessons, the notes and lecture that I'm going to give you, and then the homework that you're going to need to do for that week is required pieces in this professional portfolio. But what I have on this slide is the rubric. So this is what Mrs. Piotrowski is going to be looking at when she looks at each one of yours individually, and she's going to go through it page by page. All right. She's looking at, these are the categories, these are the pieces that has to be in there, and these are the grades you could get, a 1 through 5. But here's the thing, it tells you right down here, it talks about 18 points with none of them being less than a 4, which is commendable. And I'm just going to be straight with you. I'm looking for a 5. Every single thing that you do that you want to put in this professional portfolio, it needs to be a 5. I'll help you make it a 5. But there's no reason for it to not be a 5. You know, we can get there. And so we will make sure every item in that professional portfolio is perfect. And we'll talk about what does perfect look like when we get to each of these individual pieces. And I'll just quickly, because I don't want to go on too long about this, the first section in your portfolio, professional portfolio, are these application elements: a cover letter, a resume, a reference list, and an application. And I'm going to teach each one of these, one a week, what they are, how they're used, how they should be written, how they should look. Formatting is a big thing. So that's our first 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks of school right there. Boom, done. The next section in your professional portfolio is what they call career and technical elements. Now, you've got a profile and goals statement. That's going to be an English 12 assignment. You're going to get a grade for that for English 12. But you need to remember, when Mrs. Piotrowski is teaching you how to do it and what it needs to be, you need to remember this is going to go into this professional portfolio. So it needs to be perfect by the time you're done. Obviously, almost nobody does perfect the first time doing anything. But if you need to revise, if you need to edit, if you need to fix, you're going to do all of that before I print and put it in this professional portfolio. So employability skills, that's a different document I can talk about with you. It's something I need to fill out on you, each of you individually, at the end of your second year. And there's a whole list of stuff on it. And it's basically hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are the actual criminal justice things you learned and the technical things you learned. And the soft skills are how to be a good employee no matter what field you work in. And I have to grade you on all of those things, which is basically me telling an employer how appropriate you are or you will be as an employee, and how knowledgeable and skilled you are in the field of criminal justice. So that was the employability skills. Oh, sorry. Darn it. And then you can see here internship report or college essay. You know, that's more writing. And that's more kind of English 12 stuff that I know Mrs. Piotrowski will work with you on. And then our next category, our next section in that portfolio is project elements. So tests, quizzes, chapter work, class work, integrated samples, pictures. So you already have 80% of that done. You're going to pick one, like one test, one quiz. You don't need all of them. You've taken tons of them over the last year. But if you think about all your hands-on practicals, right, I've taken your picture and put it into your writing assignment about it. So that's already there together in one document, and you have tons of those, which is awesome. It's going to look so good when it's all put in there together. And I'll go over this in more detail. What all has to be in there, should be in there, and then any extra if you have space, because that's the thing. These portfolios only have so many plastic sheet protectors, so you don't have like as much space as you want. You have a limit. You have a certain amount, and most everybody has more than enough. But for some of you involved in, and we'll get to that next, there's some other things you might want to put in there. So the next section in this professional portfolio is awards and recognitions. So these are all kinds of things. And guess what? It isn't just criminal justice, because, you know, a lot of you do things in your homeschool, things that you participate in out in the community. All of those can be put into your professional portfolio. It doesn't have to be only criminal justice. So if you are a Troy Police cadet and you've gotten a certificate from them about, you know, something that you did for them, that could go in there. If you got an award at homeschool, if you last year you got a National Technical Honor Society, that goes in there. Honor roll, any one quarter or all of them, which however many honor rolls you got, however many perfect attendances you've gotten, those go in there under awards and recognitions. Those are recognitions. There's sports things. I mean, there's all kinds of other things that you might have gotten or will get between now and June. And they're important. They show a lot about you. It may not have anything to do with criminal justice, but it shows initiative, it shows leadership, it shows achievement, whatever the case may be. So think about that stuff. Oh, not to mention, you guys know that you're going to have to do some FEMAs for me this year. You already did incident command. Well, that's, I'm just looking here which section that would go in. Like actual certifications. You guys are going to have like 12, right? 12 different certifications. You have 2 already. You have incident command, right? For FEMA, and you have bloodborne pathogen training. Well, this year you're going to get a boatload more. So that all goes in your professional portfolio. And then your last little section here just says appearance and organization. You're going to have a title page. You're going to have a table of contents. You want to make sure that everything is in the right order to follow the table of contents. It's not wrinkled. It's not stained. Like no pieces that you put in there are wrinkled or stained or have, you know, edits or crossouts or anything like that. So that is what you need to do for your technical endorsement on your high school diploma. And it is very well worth getting, considering the time and effort you've put in 2 years into this field and into this work. So I'm actually I intended on just making one video and just go right into what this week's work is, but this is already turning out to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to stop this video. And I'll start a new one for the work that's actually due this week. Okay.